Good evening, good afternoon rather, early evening, late afternoon. I have here something kind of exciting. Well, it's nothing unusual, but something I had in my mind to buy at some point, and it came up. Dreamcast. Now, I have never had a Dreamcast before. Same is true of quite a few of these retro consoles that I've started collecting. I never had a SNES. I never had a NES. And that's it for now. I never had an original Game Boy, I suppose, but the one that I inherited was one that I played. It wasn't mine as such. But yeah, I never had a Dreamcast. I never played one a great deal. A friend of mine had one. He was a big Sega guy. He had one, and I played it a little. He played Phantasy Star Online. He played them. Well, I don't remember him playing the Sonic Adventure games, but we played them together on the GameCube, on the re-releases, and that's where I actually know the Sonic Adventure games from. But I was around for the Dreamcast release, and I kind of knew about it. I knew about it, and I knew about the games that were on it. I remember seeing pre-release kind of images for Sonic Adventure. I thought that was really cool. I remember seeing the is it the whale? It's a killer whale, isn't it? In Sonic Adventure. I know that for Sonic 06 they did a pretty similar thing. I can't remember what the chase sequence, what it was that was chasing me in that. I think it's a killer whale in Sonic Adventure. I remember seeing that for the first time and being really impressed by it. Yeah, he played Phantasy Star, and I don't remember what else he played on. And here's the thing, I don't know much about the games on the Dreamcast. Oh, he played Shenmue, and that's one of the games I do know about it. I don't know much about the catalogue on the Dreamcast. I've possibly said before in previous videos, Sega catalogues don't really excite me a lot because they're quite arcadey. I know that's kind of their history. And there's some truth to that still on the Dreamcast. I mean, CX, where I bought this, obviously, it had a wee little card for it, Dreamcast, Sega's last home console, blah blah blah. And the game, one of the 6 games listed as like top titles. Well, for one, it's Sonic Adventure, Shenmue, fine. Resident Evil, I'm not, I don't know, but I'm not immediately aware of any Dreamcast exclusive Resident Evil games. Totally possible there were, but it certainly wasn't like the main, PlayStation's what I think of when I think of Resident Evil. Crazy Taxi, good game, but it's not like, it's not, it's a good game, and that's kind of it. Very arcadey. Some NFL game, a game I haven't played. I don't know anything about it, but my kind of sports game snobbery kicks in. I can't believe that's one of 6 titles you would sort of list to show off the Dreamcast, and something else I can't remember, but it was Soul Calibur. Is that 6? I think so. Anyway, not the most. I have my doubts about the amount of games that I'm really super interested in on the Dreamcast, but I justify the kind of intrigue I had that was obviously sufficient enough to buy it by having, I do have a very minor history with having been excited about the Dreamcast and seeing it as a new console at the time that it came out, and I never had it, but the idea of it did excite me, and this is not a revisiting, obviously, in that respect, but a kind of, it's almost like visiting an alternative past. That's rather grand. A rather grand way to describe it. But anyway, Dreamcast, pretty cool looking thing. Pretty hefty, but quite compact. Not too yellow. There has been one in cash converters for a while recently, which I decided not to get. Cheaper than this actually, but it's very yellow. And this doesn't look too bad. It actually looks better in certain lights. But now that might just be the different material, or it might just be how it's aged. Maybe this panel was removed, if that can be done. I'm not going to fiddle with it too much. Oh yeah, here we are. So maybe this panel was removed, hence the difference in shade. You know, maybe it was in a drawer for years. If you ever run this, I don't know what that does. Extension, is that for like, not LAN, but is that for putting two together? Who knows? Or maybe it's like a Sega CD, like 32X type style thing. Oh, similarly. The white on the inside there. So it's a bit yellow, but that's probably to be expected with this stuff. Oh god, this is interesting. So let's see what else is in the let's see what else is in this box that it came in. Anyway, I mean, it wasn't super cheap, but these consoles probably aren't getting cheaper, and I had a bit of spare cash, and they don't turn up often. I don't think I've seen a Dreamcast for sale in CEX in the time that I've been frequenting the place. Oh, I also got at the same time one of these, because again, I haven't seen. This is a visual memory thing. I believe it's the memory card. I know that you can do sort of Tamagotchi style things. I remember the Chow Garden from Sonic Adventure was played on one of these. It's the same thing that kind of turned into the portable Chow Garden or the mini Chow Garden, whatever it was called, on Sonic Advance, and the Advance to GameCube compatibility thing. So I know about that, and it goes inside the controller, as we'll see in a moment. But yeah, I haven't seen one of these for sale in the time I've been going to CEX. And it was like a $5. So I thought, I will need one at some point anyway, presuming that is the only form of memory card for the Dreamcast. I don't know. But yeah, it's cheap. I have not gotten a game for the Dreamcast, which would have been the same kind of argument, you will need one at some point. But the games they had on offer were a Tomb Raider game, which was like something like £4, really cheap, but I don't have a massive interest in it. I think I could get it for PlayStation, which would feel more. You would feel I would, I have more of a connection with the PlayStation in terms of, the Tomb Raider titles. They had Shenmue 2, which I would totally get, but it was like 30 quid, and I haven't played Shenmue 1, so I'm in no rush to get Shenmue 2 at the moment. And they had Fantasy Star Online, which I would get, but I am pretty certain that the servers aren't still up on that. I have reason to believe that there are private servers available, but I think that's a bit of a can of worms to get into, so that would, for a rainy day, of which today is one actually, but I'm not actually in a rush to play this. I just thought, buy it so it doesn't get bought, because I will want at one point, not getting cheaper, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so I don't have a game, but what I do have is controller, which obviously came with the thing. Bit yellow again, obviously. It's kind of a nice controller. I like the triggers. Surprisingly comfortable handles here as well. The buttons are, fine. This D-pad feels dead weird. It's like an analog D-pad. Would not do for, well, I don't know, it kind of reminds me, I'm thinking GameCube D-pad when I play this, which was terrible. And in a Was it in a simple? Yeah, it was in a comparable position on the controller. And the very few times I played the Dreamcast, I didn't enjoy using this joystick. Here there's kind of notches. But it's quite, I mean, it's obviously got that kind of rough surface there for grip, but all the same, it's quite a flat surface, and I felt like my hand kind of fell off of it, and it felt slidey, you know. I don't know, maybe I'll get used to it, maybe it'll be fine, maybe I was being too critical back then. It's not one as well, but it looks cool. I mean, it kind of looks, as I say, spaceshipy. The controller definitely appealed to me at the time, and ooh, so it goes in upside down. Ah, right, that's right. So that's it with the screen. Very cool. The Xbox 360 had one of these, did it? Or am I thinking original Xbox? Maybe it didn't even have a screen. Maybe it was just stuff that went in it. I can't remember. I mean, that's very cool. I forgot even. That's the thing. You didn't even register looking at this thing that it's kind of a self-contained handheld type thing. Wow. That's actually very cool. That's very appealing. I doubt there's very much you can do with this, you know, sophistication-wise in terms of games, but that's very cool. That's a really weird way to play a game. Oh, balls! Dropped on the ground. No big deal. So yeah, Dreamcast controller. And the rest will be mundane. RGB cables. I'm going to have to find a way of connecting all these things to the TV without disconnecting them every time I want to play something different. Nice colour. Didn't remember the Xbox 360 having a power cable that colour. Can't believe that's something I'm remarking on or find interesting in the least, but there you go. Can never have too many elastic bands. Yeah, that's that in terms of showing. I will probably learn more about I will have more to say about the Dreamcast as I actually experience it, because my experience with it has been pretty minimal so far, and thus my justification for buying one has been slightly shaky grounds, but that's the game I'm in now, isn't it? So Shenmue, you know, a cult classic that I was never, you know, I will be catching up with when I experience it. Might get the Sonic Adventure games, although I really did experience them for the first time on the GameCube as such. Certainly Sonic Adventure 2, which I really liked a lot. I don't know if I see myself really buying that or playing that for the Dreamcast. Maybe the original one, because I do remember learning about it on the Dreamcast. Despite playing it on the GameCube only myself, I think of it as a Dreamcast game in the way that I do not think of Sonic Adventure 2 as a Dreamcast game, strangely. Phantasy Star Online, I definitely would like to give that a shot. I've never been a MMO guy, but that was one that I kind of considered at the time, and it was on GameCube, Phantasy Star Online. In fact, that might be where my friend with the Dreamcast, that might have been when he was, no. I'm trying to remember. He might have played it on GameCube, but I definitely remember him playing it on Dreamcast, or at least having the Dreamcast online, because, in fact, I remember using the browser on the Dreamcast to go online. He had the Dreamcast, or did he have the Dreamcast keyboard? Because I do remember doing an awful lot of typing on screen with the controller, going through one of the on-screen keyboards. So I don't know. I'm remembering things as I talk about it, and yeah, we'll see whether anything more crops up. But yeah, so this is the beginning of my Dreamcast. Let's not call it a journey. Exploration, experience, whatever. Cheers.